Hello and welcome back to Stranded Deep. You join us once more in the map editor where we are creating this island loosely based on Jurassic Park. We have been hiding out here because there have not been many updates, in fact any updates, since, I guess autumn last year. And when life gives you lemons, you set fire to Life's house with lemon grenades. No, you get busy. You get busy. So we have been creating this wonderful island paradise, which we're going to make spookums by adding sharks and the like. We have already created 3 layers. We've created the forest floor, we've created the aerial walkway, and we have created the mountains. We've also created other things like the jetty and the shipwreck, made up of multiple shipwrecks. We've created a nice area for farming for people who want to turn this island into their home. We've created little jumping, well, not puzzles, but sort of jumpy things that people can play on. But when the sharks are around, it might get a little bit more dangerous. We have also created some sort of, I guess, Jurassic Park themed items. We've got the fencing here and here. We've also got the underground lab, or the entrance to what could be an underground lab. You can't get to it because you can't get through the island mesh, but it's decoration, and that is something a lot of islands in the game do not have, a lot of the randomly generated ones. We've also got another little jumping puzzle. Cool, we know that one works. We've got the lookouts. Ooh, the lookout. And we have just cool little features like stairs, which, okay, this is a problem. Stairs, there we are. So I'm going to turn the audio down in my headset because I don't need to listen to the music. So yeah, we are controlling the game using W, S, A, and D. We're going down with Q, we're going up with E. We're panning around using the right mouse button, holding it down. And as you've already seen, the camera speed is non-linear. So the closer you get to an object, the slower the camera moves. And then as soon as you're free of the object's grasp, the object's... okay. Then, you get... yeah. That happens, and that will happen a lot, especially since this map currently has a ton of objects. Now, if you haven't seen this from the beginning, I would recommend going back a few episodes and seeing the island as it took shape. The episodes are quite long, and I'm not going to apologize for that, because we could edit these down into bite-sized chunks, but I don't think it's the same, I don't think it's the same when a bunch of the workflow is just cut out. I was looking at these beaches, and I've been thinking, well, we've got a lot of stuff. Like, if we stand up here on the lookout, specifically here, and we look down, we're looking down at 2 other levels. So we got 3 levels. We got this level that we're standing on. We got a level down there with the raised rocks, and then we also have the beach itself. So 3 levels of verticality. Would you have ever expected that? I mean, go back to the beginning of the game, standing on that tiny little island. Maybe you've just paddled ashore, and you've met a tiger shark for the first time, because the game likes to spawn tiger sharks on that first island. And you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna have to leave. I'm gonna have to, there's not enough resources to do much on that first island. Maybe just build a shelter and save, and then I'm gonna have to paddle, being chased by sharks to a bigger, happier island. Can you ever imagine something like this? Just being out there. Nah, it's so cool. But there are a few problems, things that are bugging me, and since we have the time, since there haven't been any updates recently, and the option is really to go back into the main game and just start playing again, I thought we could just carry on with the map editor. And while this island is technically okay now, we could release it as is, and it would be a good island. Well, it would be a good island. Let's not beat around the bush. I mean, we've got a cave with a boat in it, and then trees and things on top. We've got a lot of stuff here, but it's at this point we can start adding polish, and we can start looking at things that don't quite work so well and saying, you know what, we can do something with it. So these beaches the ones that sort of curve outwards, this one here and this one here, have a bit of a problem. Now, I was thinking about this earlier, and I think this hill here can remain legitimately kind of barren. We can leave the top of the hill barren. We've already decorated this one. And once you're in the game, we know that the game will put scrub and grass and everything around these hills and to make it kind of finishes off the look. And it's kind of the same for here. But if you want people to build stuff, you kind of need to leave the area open. And I'm kind of happy to do that. I think we've got as much stuff as we need. What I might do is put some smaller plants that can be chopped down, maybe baby pine trees, and maybe the ficuses that can actually be chopped away. That's fine. That's something we can do when we are doing a foliage pass, because we've got all the placed foliage, all the trees that we actually want placed have been placed. But we can do another pass where we put palm trees down and things. But these beaches here, I mean, this one feels okay. It's quite narrow at this point, but it has a feeling to it, and it feels enclosed almost. Even though the actual the beach is kind of very, very steeply shelving, it feels, I would say, warm, if that makes sense. Whereas if we turn 180 degrees and stand here, it kind of feels cold. It feels almost empty and barren. And I think, yeah, I mean, it's quite a steeply shelving edge, and I don't think we can get away from that, because that is the abyss. So we've gone out as far as we can really realistically go with this mesh. I was looking at it earlier, and this island is huge. It's very difficult. The camera's kind of, there we go. It's very difficult to kind of overstate how big this island is. It is massive. It's actually bigger than our current home island, in terms of just pushing the island to the edges. It hasn't really, I don't think there's performance issues or anything. I don't think there's too much too big a cause for alarm. But I think what we could do is probably reduce the width of this beach, because we're kind of very close to the edge of the world. Kind of like we've done here, but also add some sort of offshore interest. I think that might work quite well, because this beach here is huge in comparison, and you can swim out quite far, and then you come around the corner and suddenly it's like, boop, nothing. So I think this corner needs to be shaved off. I don't think we're going to lose anything, because if you stand here and look down, yeah, it's kind of like, it's empty. You're not looking down on anything. Whereas here, on this particular rock here, you're looking down on something with a lot of interest. So I think because there hasn't been any updates in the game, because there's nothing really calling us back into the main game apart from doing the things we've already done. We've tried to build a bridge from an island to an island. We've got a gyrocopter. We've got all the late game stuff. We may as well stay here and just add polish. We may as well just add the fun stuff. So now we've got a working island. We may as well just build it up. So I think push this bit back, maybe here. And I don't think you can have too many of these little offshore islands. We can't have any more of these. We know we have got to the item limit for these little jumpy bits. So maybe we just put offshore islands that you can maybe swim to, but you would have to swim to. You can't actually, we can't bridge to. I mean, we could, I suppose, if we use rocks like we've done over here. Okay, let's do something. Let's make this corner warmer. Let's make it feel a little bit more enclosed. I think that's definitely something we should do. So let's go up here for a start and just have a little look-see. And I think what we could do is either add something there or there. I don't know about adding stuff directly in front. Oh, you know what? I don't mind. Oh, that camera though. Yeah, so we have literally no control over the speed of the camera. We're going to hit up terrain. We're going to hit up the car. We're going to hit up display ocean. Displaying ocean is now disabled. And we can see just how steep that that bit of shoreline is. If there was a shark or something swimming through here, you'd be able to stand on the shore and just gat it with a bow and arrow or a gas launcher or something. Oh yeah, the shadows got a bit weird. Oh, hang on a sec. Display ocean on. Shadows are okay. Look up at the sky. Display ocean off. Shadows are fine. Okay, right. So we're going to use... what are we going to read? Nah, well... Yeah, let's read terrain paint height. And let's read it from this sort of dark wet sand here. That's where the mass pointer was. The amount is down. The size is a lot further down. And what we're going to do is click and hold. And that's going to pull up. And we look at the side. It's going to start pulling stuff up. But it's also going to start pushing stuff down. There we go. Get a little bit more of a shelfy shelf boy on there. Okay. So we'll start by pushing this back. On this corner. Good. That's better. And then we're going to hit smooth. We're going to crank the amount all the way up. And then we're going to smooth like nobody's business. Oh, smoothing is happening. Yes, it is. Yeah. And we're actually using the caustics, the light reflecting on the bottom of the ocean to kind of gauge where the water is. With the water switched off. I don't know why it's displaying. I don't think it should display. So that's a little bit shallower. It's a little bit shallower. We're using the smooth brush. So we've raised stuff up using the set height. And now we're smoothing it back to create a more gently shelving beach. Just smoothing it back. Painting and smoothing, painting and smoothing. That's what you do all day to get rid of the sort of triangular lumpiness. Okay. Because there is a lot of triangular lumpiness to the brush. If you just go ham with the brush and then just don't smooth it off. Because the world, the mesh that you're working with is a series of triangles. I hope you know that. I mean, I really hope you guys know that. It is, you're literally playing with triangle. So let's turn the water back on. Display ocean. Boom. It's still fairly steep. But the beach now is a lot shallower in terms of, if we go up here and look down. Boom. Yeah. I don't mind it being so steep, especially since the bay is quite shallow. We're going to have kind of a steep, but it's not as steep as it was. So it's better, but it's also narrower between the grass and the water. Nice. Boom. Put your head in there. Get it bitten off by a shark. Brilliant. That's exactly what we want. So we're going to hit up rocky rocks. Now what we've done over here is to put a cliff piece in the sea, and then what we did is we pushed the camera into the mesh. Oh, there we go. There's a bunch of dirt up inside it. Do we want to do the same thing for another island? I don't think it's necessary, to be honest. If it's close enough to the coast, it might not be necessary. But it also might not be necessary if it just gets... I mean, if it's just being swamped, I don't think it's a problem. So... Okay, so we want an offshore island. So we're using Clef 2 for this. It's basically you go to girl for an instant offshore island. I actually had to explain that to someone. I was like, what is go to girl? And I'm like, oh yeah, English isn't your first language. How do I explain that one? I don't know. I might be a bad person. No, it's your first choice essentially. So it's your first choice for whatever you happen to be doing. Now the trouble with this is, I suppose the sharks. I keep thinking that the sharks need a shallow area to swim in. They don't. They can swim out over the abyss, so that's not a problem for them. I think I'll bring this slightly closer to shore though. That's better. Push it out slightly. I want it to be deep enough so that you can get messed up. If that makes sense. So if you try and swim out to it and climb up on it, you might get messed up by a shark. No, okay, cool. So we've got this little rocky thing. Let's go back up here because it's all about looks. It's all about looks. So we've got this here. I like the way it looks. I do like the sort of depth now on that. Let's go here. Yep, feels a bit better. It feels... Yeah, I don't mind that. I mean, we could have a couple of these. The only thing is, the more of these we have, these little offshore islands, if someone's coming in on a raft and they're like dip 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 dip, their problem is the big rafts do not steer. They've got the turning circle of a small planet, so you can land here. Ideally, you want to kind of land here. But there are plenty of things that are going to stop you, especially once... I mean, that's... Ooh, is that deep enough to stop a raft? Or is that shallow enough to stop a raft? Maybe. I mean, there's enough stuff to actually get you snarled up, and then you have to deal with a shark if you've got a big old raft. I don't think after a certain size it's too much trouble. A shark shouldn't flip over rafts over a certain size. Emphasis on the shouldn't, and also you might have a problem if you have a storm roll in and you're like, oh no, there's a storm here, and now everything that I had is being demolished. Like, I wish it was easier to get to this island. So what we're going to do is we're just going to poke the tree out of the crack, just find a crack in the rock and just have the tree poking out, which is fine. I like it. I mean, this ficus is pretty sweet anyway. So we'll do that. I'm going to drop it down further into the rock, so as far down as I can really realistically get it. There we go. Cool. That camera speed though, yeah, so we get to here and then it just shoots forward. It's not... I mean, I'm literally just holding W and it just freaks out, and I'm like, please don't freak out. But it does. It really does. Okay, what else can we do here? There's some little flavour. I mean, this is essentially something that people aren't going to be able to... Well, I say aren't going to be able to climb up on. I suppose they could build something out here. Oh, why would they do that? Why would they build things out here? Because humans are inquisitive, and that's what people do. Okay, fine. That makes sense. So, with this, because there's no, like, real dirt, what we're going to do is we're going to find cracks in the rock to put the plants. Just angle them out a little bit, and there we go. Just what we're doing is just breaking up that rocky surface, essentially. Ugh. I don't know why the camera is jumping around as badly as it is with this stuff here. And then I'll just do this. Okay, can we sneak? Sneaks? Okay. Even though this is kind of far out, I do want to make it... Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. So you've got that, and it's just a little plant-covered rock. Offshore. Suddenly it feels a little bit better. It feels like the beach is enclosed. You don't need too much of it out to sea. But yeah, it feels like this, if we turn around, it feels like there's something going on. It feels so much better. It still feels cold looking in this direction, but then you've got that. Okay, cool. Cool. I like it. And if we now turn if we go to terrain and display ocean, yeah, so it's still very, very narrow here, but because we've thrown in these little islandlets, that's kind of cool. That's good, and it's a big enough gap that if you take your boat, you should be able to get through there, no problems. Okay, that's okay. Let's turn the ocean back on, because those shadows are freaking me out. They're kind of bugging me. They're Bugs Bunny? Don't know. So objects, terrain, blah 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 blah. Let's go and do something here as well. Yeah, this is terrifyingly deep here, isn't it? I mean, we could raise this bit of the mesh up so it's not so deep, but then you just have the abyss suddenly appear. That might help a little bit. Let's do it. So we go terrain. So what we're doing is working on this area. Let's look up the sky. Ocean on, ocean off. Okay. The shadows are better now. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is an example of just, we have this area, and it doesn't feel right. It's okay, it works, but it just doesn't feel right to us. And you couldn't see the gesture that I just did, but you know, it's not quite right. So what we're going to do is read terrain set height, and I'm going to click on the height that I want the terrain, and let's go with here. So the amount, because the amount is inherited. So if I turn it all the way up, that smooth height, that set height, amount slider is all the way up. If I went to raise and lower, clicked on raise and lower, clicked, we would either have a spike to the sky or a pit to the abyss, and we always need to make sure the amount slider is in the correct place. So we have selected a height to go to by clicking on this button. It goes red, and then we use the mouse pointer, not the center of the blue circle, but essentially the mouse pointer, just to read a height. With the amount down, we can just click and hold and just raise the seabed up a bit, because I think let's crank the amount slider up a bit. Oh, much too much. Ugh, there's no fine tuning this one. Okay, that's better. It's better. Yeah. So what we're doing, essentially what we're doing is pulling the mesh up from the bottom. So there's only a finite amount of mesh. Let's do this, and then we'll raise it up. So now we've created the plateau. See, plateau. That's set to a specific height. That's set to this height that we selected. I'm going to do it once more. I'm going to click about halfway at the bank, change the amount down, and then just brush across there. Okay. So what that's done is it's now created a step and a step, and then you've got a slope down to the abyss. Okay, cool. Can we raise this up a little bit around here? Yeah. There we go. So we'll go mount slider about 50%. Size is quite big, and then we're just going to click and hold, and then we're smoothing it back. Because I don't think you can really see, but it's kind of sharp. There's a lot of like triangular edges to things now. What can we find? Oh, there's one. That sort of pyramid that we've got going on in front of us. Yeah, that's not great. So all it is just click and hold and smooth it. It's essentially just sanding stuff down, making it all smooth. Because there are no natural pyramids. Well, I don't. I say that, and I'm like, what about bismuth? What? Yeah, the element that breaks stuff into cubes and. Okay, yeah. There are natural geometric shapes that appear in nature. That happen. They just happen. Cool. So what I've done is made that a little bit more shallow through there. Still very steep. Oh, I suppose it's not too bad. Not as bad as it was. Boop. Oh yeah. I suppose it makes it easier for you to go from standing here to swimming. Boom. Okay, cool. It's better. Feels a little better. Feels a little bit like Christmas. Let's go with objects. Let's play. Let's play small rock 1. Okay. So I've got an idea. Let's try something. Let's play with the rocks that we have. Because we can't. Can we bring anything else out? We can. I think what we can do, in fact, is bring out something. Let's put that there. Can we get an extra? So if we go structures, sea footbridge broken. Maximum reach. Seafoot Bridge. Not reach the maximum of that. I don't know if there... Oh, I suppose there is a maximum, but we've been using this sparingly. Let's make a groin. A what, brother? A groin. G-R-O-Y-N-E. What does that do? You haven't been to the beach. And you've seen the thing on the sand. And it's like a big wooden wall on the beach. And you get them every, I don't know, 100 yards, quarter mile, something like that. And they just sort of poke out from the sand. And you're like, what is going on there? And it turns out that the sand is higher on one side than it is on the other. That's a groin. It's essentially a sand trap. So when you have big long beaches, the sand is kept evenly along the beach instead of being washed along the coastline to out into the ocean. So good. Not only do you learn how to make stuff in Stranded Deep Map Editor that may be a little bit different, a little bit je ne sais quoi, but you also get a little bit of a lesson. Also, I'm incredibly sick right now. I think last episode I was like, I am not feeling very well. And then, yeah, it turned out I did have a cold coming and I was not very well. And then, yeah, it's kind of finding it hard to breathe at the moment. So, sorry if I'm a bit more breathy than normal. So what we're going to do is we don't even need this to be visible on the beach. This could be underwater. It can be an underwater thing. Boop. Why? Well, we have a lot of fences and things, so it's not actually going beyond what we've already created in terms of stuff. Is it going to interfere with Sharky Boys? Questions. These are good questions. Don't know. Like, literally don't know. Probably. But this is not how we're going to leave this particular story. Do we want to raise this up slightly? Yes. I think we do, just to get a little bit more height on it. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is go bloop. And then I think what I'll also do is so it's R to rotate, T to transform, and C to clone. Oh yeah, those are the other controls we're using. We haven't really been using them in this episode, but we used them on all the other episodes. So R to rotate. Okay, there you go. I like that little. It's not quite an S bend, but that's fine. That's fine. And now what we're going to do is say raise up the sand on one side. Which side would we want the sand raised up on? Question. I think we'll raise it up on this side. Yeah, this side. I think it makes sense because I think what we've done over here is something similar. Yeah, we've raised it up on the left and the right is sort of down, and these rocks have more sand on one side than the other. So it's kind of a running theme. It's not a surprise at this point to anyone exploring our island. So I think what we'll do is we'll flip the sides. So we'll go terrain. We'll go raise and lower. We'll go raise. And we'll crank the amount almost all the way down, just like a pixel off the stop. We'll use the hard brush. We'll change the size down. And then what we'll do is we will turn the ocean. Oh, look up to the sky, turn the ocean off, look back down. Okay, cool. And then we'll click and hold and see if... Oh, no, we won't. You have to go back and raise and lower. So even if you click on the cog, you'll still get the brush, but it won't do anything. So raise and lower, okay. And you can see that the brush is actually snapping to points on the map, and those are nodes. So if I just click and hold here, and that will raise that node up. So that's raised a little pyramid, little pyramid. And I can do the same thing here, and then it creates a little sand dune, but it's very angular. Oh, okay, that's what smoothing does. It gets rid of that absolute sharpness because the mesh is made of triangles. Cool. So I think we can probably speed that up a bit. Click and hold, click and hold, click and hold, click and hold. And then just brush, fill some of these gaps in. Cool. Don't really mount up. Probably don't need the hard. We'll probably use a soft brush from here, because a soft brush, it'll tell whatever's in the center of the brush to rise fast on the edges of the brush. Essentially, it's like a soft brush in Photoshop. So we'll just brush. What we're doing is we get sand out a little bit more on one side than it is on the other. Still want the water there, but this is more of a curiosity. So we'll change the size up. The amount can stay the same, and then we'll just brush it back. Okay, cool. So we got these little pits and dents and stuff. What we might end up doing is pushing it a little bit down so we can get water over the top of it. Cool. I think what I want is this to actually go into that little fence section. I want it to be slightly exposed, but I don't want it to be like completely overexposed. So we'll be careful about raising it up in here now. If I'll click instead, give me slightly greater control, but it makes audio awful. Sorry. There we go. And then we'll smooth that off. It's a sand trap. Yay! But not the kind of trap you trap a person in. Cool. So let's have a little look with the water on. Yeah, that's too. We can push this down now. So we can start sculpt it back. Make sure that's down. Click on lower. And then soft brush, and then just clicky click, clickety click, clickety click. I want a specific color. So we're looking at the color of the water in order to get that sort of turquoisey. Nice. I can bring that out as well. Cool. Bring that out. Down. Nice. Good. Feels a bit better. And so it's completely donezo on one side but not the other. Then we can smooth that again. That's a big brush. Can't see it through the water mesh. The water mesh is something else. Mount a little bit further up. There we go. Are we actually smoothing stuff? Feels like we got to a point where some of the stuff isn't being smoothed. Curious. I mean, it is working. I can kind of see it working. But this point back here. No, yeah, there we go. Eventually. Okay. So what have we done here? Smooth. Deep, shallow, deep, shallow, deep, shallow. Nice. It's just a tiny bit of detail, essentially, in an otherwise empty area that felt really, really cold because there was literally nothing there. So I'll just drop that down because I don't think it needs to be as high as it is. Still maintains some of that profile. That's fine. And in terms of sailing a raft, you might see it, you might not. Is it going to stop a raft? No, they'll be fine. That's not actually too bad. It's subtle. It's very subtle. So if we go up here and see if we can see the difference. Yeah. No. You can just about see the difference. So the area to the left of it is shallower, the area to the right is definitely deeper, and it looks like it's having an effect on the world, on the terrain. So that little curious piece of metal, that groin that we've created, it looks like it's holding back the sand for essentially, I guess, this beach here, whereas the rest of the sand is subject to time and tide, and that section of beach has now been washed away. So if we go down, we have, bearing in mind we haven't actually added any plants here, so palm trees and stuff, which we will later on. Even now, it feels less cold because we've got stuff offshore, and we've got stuff to sort of, well, interact with, stuff that is just kind of curios. So yeah, I'm happy with that, and I guess it adds extra little gameplay. If people want to tiptoe along here and just sort of peek down into the water, they can. It's a risk-reward thing. I don't think it's that deep. You could probably run back, but if there's a shark swimming around, then I guess you could stand here and shoot it. We've reduced the height of the ocean here. It's still deep enough to have a shark. Animals. So yeah, if we it's got internals. I wasn't expecting it to have so much in the way of internals. Yeah. Can we get off the shark? Ooh. Yeah, we can get off the shark. So I think if we turn the water back on, objects, no terrain, deliberately, oh, display ocean. Of course the ocean's already on. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. No, objects. Let's click on that. Let's click on that. Let's bring it in a little bit. So if you are, whoop, if you're standing here, yeah, that's terrifying. Is that even with the fin out of the water? No, so that's completely submerged. Yeah, no, that's not great. Let's see what it looks like up here. Oh yeah, the great white is very hard to see. Very camouflaged. So if we take a tiger, she used to be sandy. They changed the tiger model. I think it's a bit more realistic now. Still huge. I mean, these things are massive. So yeah, from up here you can see them. I don't know if they would. I don't think they would spawn up here. You would have to be down at this point for them to actually spawn. Bloop. Yeah. So they can get around. Now, whether they'll be able to get around once the game has put coral and the like in the area, I'm not entirely sure. It's one of those things you actually have to test. So we'll have to test that. Oh, the tiger is something we know about, but that great white though, there's something sinister about its silhouette. I don't know, there's something wrong about that. We'll be putting sharks in the game at some point, in this map at some point. So cool. I think we've done what we need to do on this beach. We've done something, a little trick. So we've thrown in a cliff tower, a cliff stack, put a few plants on it, and then we've added a groin made up of a walkway and a few rocks. We've built the sand up on one side. We've made the ocean a bit more shallow, and we have it deeper on the other side. And that makes this little beach feel a little bit more enclosed, a little bit warmer. I think that's fine. I think that's absolutely brilliant. So we'll add palm trees and rocks and things to this beach, and I think it'll be fine. But I'm going to leave it there for the time being. So if you're watching this and you're like, oh, that was a really good thing that I just watched, definitely leave a little like, leave a subscribe. And if you do subscribe, click the little bell because that would give you notifications when videos go live. And there's also a Twitter and there's also a Facebook page. So, go find those. And you know what? I'll catch you next time.